Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for March 2nd. We're going to take a look at the U.S. Japanese yen pair. This particular pair we're expecting to move as high as 98.73 and potentially as low as 95.91. We also are looking for resistance to come in around 97.77 and support around 96.34 in this particular pair. Now switching over, this pair is moving sideways. The bias is to the downside currently. Looking at the Euro USD, this particular pair moved lower after gapping lower today or in the previous session. We are expecting a possible move to 1.4763 and as low as 124.15. Look for some resistance to come in around 126.01 and look for support around 125.13. This pair is moving sideways, currently has a bias to the downside. Now looking at the pound US dollar pair, this particular pair gapped a little bit on the open and is moving lower. We do expect this pair to move possibly as high as 1.4458 and as low as 137.53. Look for some resistance around 141.50 and look for support around 139.50 in this particular pair. This pair is moving lower. The bias is to the downside, and we are looking for it to push lower at this time. Looking at the US Swiss, this pair gapped up on the open and is closed up, moving sideways for the most part, but bias is to the upside. We are expecting it to move potentially as high as 1.1893 and as low as 116.02. Look for some resistance around 118.00 and look for support around 116.02 in this particular pair. Now, what am I looking for during this next session? To be honest with you, there's not a whole lot that I'm looking at. For those of you that took the trade here to the downside, still in that, looking for it to push lower. Of course, we created an inside bar today, so we're looking for a break of that to the downside, potentially looking to short at 96.81, although I'm not super excited about that because I don't have a really good exit for that particular trade. What I am excited about, though, is this potential, and I haven't talked about this in a while, but we have a window of opportunity is what I like to call it. That window of opportunity is between these 2 points. And basically what I'm looking to do is to short at 96.31 and looking to exit this particular trade at 95.00. That's a potential of 131 pips. 131 pips profit in that. Use a risk to reward ratio. You could do 1-to-1. I'd probably limit it to losing 100 pips to make 131 pips. So look for that window of opportunity. Those of you that trade Trend Finder or another trend system, you can drop down to a lower time frame and of course look for those opportunities, more of a strategic pinpointing trade for that. That about does it for what I'm looking for this during this next session. Not too much, not going to force anything. But we do have some news announcements that are coming out. We have the Swiss releasing their GDP for the fourth quarter at 1:45 a.m. Consensus is that it has dropped from 0.0% down to negative 0.8%. Year to date, there's a significant drop estimated from 1.6% down to negative 0.1%, which would be negative news for the Swiss franc there. We do have the Canadian dollar releasing their rate decision tomorrow at 9 a.m. Consensus is they're going to drop by 50 basis points from 1% down to 0.5% or 50%. The U.S. has Bernanke testifying before Senate Budget Committee at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Make sure to look for that to move the market depending on what he says. Could be good or bad for the U.S. dollar. Most likely bad for the U.S. dollar if I had to guess. Now the Australian dollar also has their GDP for the fourth quarter being released at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Consensus is that it has dropped from 0.1% to 0.0%. Year to date, they're estimating a drop of a full 1% from 1.9% down to 0.9%, which would be bad news for the Australian dollar. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.